Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. All right, we are 10 days away from the 2026 Daytona 500. So as I've been doing since the day after Phoenix, profiling every car number as we go. And a lot of these videos, there's news and notes that have happened. I'll kind of chime into those as well. Stay tuned to the end of this video, and I will, after I go through the stats of car number 10, I will give my opinion on the clash last night. I will give my opinion on Fox. I will give my opinion on the reaction on social media this morning. And I will give my opinion on how everything went down. So let's run through car number 10, and then we'll get to the opinion part. All right, car number 10. Been in the NASCAR Cup Series since day one. June 19th, 1949. The last race was November 2nd, 2025. Non-point races don't count, so the clash is not counting these stats. None of the exhibition races counting these stats. So that's why, because I know there's a race last night, but you know. 1,605 starts for that car number 10 in the Cup Series, 12 wins. 107 different drivers drove it, and 5 different drivers account for those 12 wins. 87 top 5s, 291 top 10s, 14 poles. Now, of those 1,605 starts, 890 were under a Ford banner, 442 under a Chevrolet, 190 under a Pontiac, 120 under a Dodge, 39 Mercury, 14 Buick, 12 Pontiac, 4 Oldsmobile, and 3 Lincoln. Bill Champion actually has the most starts. And then one reason I started doing these videos was for this exact instance here. When we look at the history of this sport, a lot of people only look at the recent history. Maybe a few people look at, back the 70s and the 80s. But you know what? When you go back to the beginning of the time, of 1949, and even a little before that with Bill France, and you look at all the people that helped build this sport, and then Dave Moody does a great job on the Legend series and the Unfiltered about talking to the legends and giving their story and their words. And one of his last questions is always, how do you want to be remembered? And everybody tells this, that, and the other. And Richard Petty had the best one of all, I thought. Richard Petty goes, I just want to be remembered, which actually led me to doing videos like this, remembering drivers that no one talks about, like the Bill Champions of the world. He had 244 Cup starts in the car number 10, 4 top 5s, 37 top 10s, average finish of 20.1. Names like that do not come up. He's not a champion. He didn't win in the car 10. Honestly, I'd have to look at the rest of his stats up to see what else he did in this sport, but I know the name. And I know because I've done these before, so it's like, okay, I think drivers like that, regardless of their stats, they were part of the foundation of the sport that got us where we are today. Eric Almirola, 216 starts in the car number 10, 2 wins, 19 top 5s, 64 top 10s, average finish of 16.5. Ricky Rudd, 196 starts, 6 wins, 31 top 5s, 69 top 10s, average finish of 19.0. And I've talked about in a lot of these videos as different car numbers, to me, I think of different drivers, And when the 24, first thing you think of is Jeff Gordon. 3, the first thing you think of is Dale Earnhardt, The 10, I think of that 10 tide ride that Ricky Rudd had. That 10 pure later that Derek Cope won the 500 with. He actually won Michigan that year as well. And so, when I look for these little pictures for these videos, I think of, who do I think of when I think of this car number, And sometimes I'll go a little older. Sometimes I'll do like Bobby Allison was my favorite driver, so the 22 and the 12 were both his and stuff like that. And I picked Ricky Rudd for this one because that tide ride I always thought looked pretty cool. And when he drove the 10 car, that was for RPM, which was Rudd Performance Motorsports. He's one of the drivers in that era that drove for people, ended up driving, going on his own. Unfortunately, the success wasn't there for him. And he ended up driving for other teams later in his career. A lot of drivers did that in that era. It was always that era, the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, mid to late 90s, was kind of that era where you drove your whole career for somebody, you became an owner driver, and then the goal was obviously to be an owner in the future. Unfortunately, not many of those succeeded. They ended up driving for somebody else the rest of their career, and they got into broadcasting or whatever the case was, and sometimes just completely out of the sport. Danny Kirkpatrick, 190 starts, 7 top 10s, average finish of 24.1. I know there's a lot of complaints about women in the NASCAR. I know they don't get the same shake that men do. I think sometimes certain females have been pushed too quick, too fast. They weren't given the time to succeed. They weren't given the resources to succeed. Because unfortunately, there is a bias in this country where women don't know cars. And I'm hoping eventually someday, at least in the NASCAR world, that gets changed. I know in Top Fuel it has. I'm hoping that trickles over to NASCAR and we start seeing more of the Tony Breitingers, the Haley Deegans and stuff to get to the couple of them and have success. Johnny Benson Jr. He's actually a two-time champion in NASCAR. One in the Truck Series, one at Xfinity. He had 136 starts in the Cup Series and then the car number 10. I think it was the Valvoline sponsorship. 1 win, 14 top 5s, 32 top 10s, average finish of 19.7. Scotty Riggs, Lane Riggs' dad, 133 starts in that car number 10, 4 top 5s, 15 top 10s, average finish of 25.0. And like I've said before, these are not all-inclusive stats. These are just the stats for this particular car number. So any other stats that Johnny Benson Jr. had when he drove the 30 car, when he drove the 36 car, I think he drove 36, they're not included in this. Derek Cope, when he drove the 10 car, we know he drove some other cars as well. He had 106 starts, 2 wins, 1 Daytona 500, 1990, when Dale cut the tire down. 3 top 5s, 15 top 10s, average finish of 21.1. On the Xfinity side, 905 starts among 76 drivers. 6 different winners, won 20 races. 141 top 5s, 242 top 10s. First race was May 29th, 1982. Last race was November 1st, 2025. I believe it was number 10 NESCAR car that Jeff Green drove. Jeff Green, 134 starts, 10 wins. 41 top 5s, 33 top 10s, average finish of 24.1. Phil Parsons, I don't know why 10 channel lock pops into mind when I think of Phil Parsons in that 10 Xfinity car. 16 top 5s, 33 top 10s, average finish of 18.7. I will say the stats, all I look up and have those written down. When I say, I think this person drove this car with this sponsor, that's just coming from memory. So I may be wrong and I may be right, but it's like that just comes from memory. For some reason, like with Phil Parsons, I'm seeing, I know he drove the 10 car, I'm like, was it Channel Lock I thought was the sponsor at one time? Scotty Riggs, 68 starts in the Xfinity Series and the number 10, 4 wins, 19 top 5s, average 30 top 10s, average finish of 14.8. L.D. Ottinger, 54 starts, 10 top 5s, 30 top 10s, average finish of 12.4. Daniel Dye, most recently in the number 10 Xfinity car, there for Colic Racing, 43 starts, 10 top 10s, average finish of 20.0. And we know Daniel's going to the Truck Series under the Ram banner. Hopefully when Colic does eventually come back to the Xfinity Series, hopefully with Dodge, that they get their numbers. They can use the number 10 and 11, kind of some of their numbers from the whole history of their company. 39 starts in that number 10 Xfinity car. 4 Ross Chastain under the Colic banner. 16 top 5s, 31 top 10s. Average finish of 18.6. On to the Craftsman Truck Series. 432 starts for 25 drivers. 1 driver won. 14 top 5s, 43 top 10s. First race was February 5th, 1995. Last race was September 27th, 2024. Jennifer Jo Cobb has the most starts in the 10 Craftsman truck. 215 starts, 1 top 10, average finish of 25.7. Terry Cook, 75 starts, 1 win, 7 top 5s, 27 top 10s, average finish of 15.2. David Starr, 25 starts, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s, average finish of 15.8. James Busher, 25 starts, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, average finish of 16.1. Brendan Gaughan, 25 starts, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s, average finish of 16.9. All right, so that is car number 10 in the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Now, like I said at the beginning, at the end, I would go over what I thought of. You know what? We're going to make that a completely separate video. Nah, we'll put it here. I don't feel like doing another video for it. I enjoyed the Clash. I don't think the Clash needs to be in Daytona. You know what? No, I'm gonna do this in a different video. I'm gonna look some stuff up and do some stuff in the video. So sorry about that. For you stuck around to see my opinion on that, check out the reaction to the Cookout Clash at Bowman Gray video coming soon. As always, thanks for watching the Rubber Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.